I don't think you guys know this, but I'm a little bit of a tennis nut. I played in high school for 3.5 years and loved it. Woo! So here, finishing off our next video here. So here's number 12. So number 12 can actually be done by just taking x plus 5 and distributing it 3 times. So there's another thing called Pascal's triangle, which I'm going to show you. And so basically it goes row 1, 1, 1, no, row 0, row 1, row 2, which is 1, 2, 1, and this is going to be row 3, which is 1, 3, 3, 1. And so Pascal's triangle, so we're going to use 1, 3, 3, 1. And we're going to take x, and we're going to take it next to those numbers all the way across. We're going to do the highest power first, which is the third power. And in parentheses, really, that x should be in parentheses. And then first, and then 0. Then we're going to go and take the next number, which is a 5. And so now we're going to start high to low, and now we're going to do low to high. So high is 3, low is 2, 1, 0. Now we're going to go low, so 5 to the 0 power, plus 5 to the first power, plus 5 squared, plus, and then 5 to the third power. So don't forget, anything to the 0 power is just a 1. So we have 1 times x to the third power, which is just x to the third power. X squared times 5 to the first power is just 5 times 3. So that's going to be plus 3 times 5 is 15 x squared. Then we're going to go ahead and do 5 squared. And 5 squared is 25. And so 3 times 25 is 75. So 5 squared is 25 times 3. Got to multiply those two together, multiply those two together. And so once you multiply those together, you get 75. X to the what? X to the first power. X to the 0 becomes a 1. 1 times 5 to the third power. Now 5 times 5 is 25 times 5, another 5, is 125. And there's our answer. There's our answer. Nice. Okay, so then we're down to 13 and 14. So all you're going to do is determine whether the two expressions are equivalent or not. And so it looks like we're going to do some distributing here, as well as squaring this first. And then eventually you'll distribute that negative through, but over on this side, so we're just going to go into FOIL here. So x times x is x squared. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And then 1 times x is 1x. And so we have a negative 2x with a positive 1x, which is going to be negative 1x. Bring down the negative 2, bring down the x squared. And then don't forget to bring down the 3x squared, which we're going to add those together. And we're going to get 4x squared. So 4x squared minus x minus 2. Then we're going to see if this side is the same, if they're equivalent or not, or no. So yes or no. So 2x times 2x is going to be 4x squared. Looking good so far. Negative 2 times 1 is a negative 2. Looking good so far. Negative 2 times 2x is a negative 4x. And then make our smiley face. 1 times 2x is a 2x. Okay, maybe turn that into a frowny face. What do you mean, Mr. Nubo? Well, negative 4x with a positive 2x is going to be a negative 2x. Because you have 4 negatives and 2 positives, so 2 left. And so we're going to be off by 1 number. So we're going to say no. We're going to say no, not equivalent. So our answer for 13 is no. But maybe 14 works. Give it a try. And maybe not. Give it a try. Not equivalent is our answer there. Nice. So I'm just going to pause and double check for 2 seconds. Alrighty. So, yep, that's not equivalent for sure. Not equivalent. No, not equivalent. Alright, flip to the next side. Flip to the next side. Here we go. So on the back side, we're going to be factoring. And there are lots of different things. I remember last year we just did a whole section just on factoring. Looks like we're combining them both to get through more material this year. So just do some YouTubing on factoring. Rewatch this video. Just learn some factoring. So number 15, we have x squared minus 1. And so that's special because it has an x, it has a squared, it has a minus, and it has a perfect square. So another perfect square could be like, I don't know, x squared minus like 16, for example. And so x squared minus 1 is going to factor. Let's do, wow. Hey, I've been out of practice this summer, okay? Give me a break. Again, pause me. Try this on your own. Pause me. Try it on your own. So all of these problems are going to be doing 2 sets of parentheses, 2 sets of parentheses, lots of parentheses. So go ahead and make lots of parentheses. Nice. I see 2 perfect squares there. Ooh, I see that this one you could actually pull out a GCF first, really, couldn't you? Nice. Pull out that 4. Okay, so anyways, back to number 15. So x squared, again, factors into what? X squared factors into x times x. And then what are factors of 1? Well, factors of 1, let's use a different color. So factors of 1 are 1 times 1, right? 1 times 1 is 1. Nice. Now, the thing is if it's like a minus and a minus, or a plus and a plus, it's not going to work because it's going to give you a middle term of minus 2x or plus 2x, you know, like if those both are minus. And so we want to make sure that we choose the signs correctly. And so to make sure that there's no middle term, we do a minus and a plus. And then the middle terms cancel out. So for example, x squared minus 16 is just an example. That would be x and x, again, is x squared. Factors of 16 are 4 times 4. And so the minus there would have to break into minus and plus. And the reason why, again, is the nose. Minus 4 times x is minus 4x. And positive 4 times x is a positive 4x. And what do you know? Those 2 middle terms cancel out and go away. And when you multiply them back out, you get your x squared minus 16 back again. So it's called a, what is it called? It's called a difference of squares. Yeah, difference of squares. So keep on practicing your difference of squares. Number 21 is also a difference of squares. What does 9 factor down into? 3 and 3. What about 64? 8 and 8. We've got x squared, x and x. So those ones are called a difference of squares. Then you have like your regular factoring, right? Your regular factoring. So that means that x squared factors into x and x. And what are factors of 15, do you think? Yeah, there's only two. It's 3 times 5, or your two factors, and 15 times 1, I guess. That could work sometimes. But 3 times 5, and we want it to equal 2x when you do the nose and the mouth, right? And so a phrase I want you to memorize is the sign of the middle term goes with the largest number or largest factor. Okay? So let's go ahead and try to there we go. So this is something that you want to memorize for sure. So the sign of the middle term goes with the largest number or the largest factor. So since, that's really important to remember. It's really important to remember that. Right? Remember it. Remember it. Remember it. So the sign of the middle term goes with the largest factor. So that plus then is going to go right here with a plus 5. And then how do we get a positive 2? Well, a positive 5 minus 3, right, is a negative 2. Because x times 5 is 5x. And negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And so 5x minus 3x is 2x. And that's what we wanted. So our answer, indeed. So our answer then is going to be x minus 3 and x plus 5. Rainbow pen. So x minus 3, x plus 5 is our final answer for number 17.